out in front of the net, and he scores.
In front, big shot, big goal.
For Vodchuk, scores. Josh Vodchuk.
Lowe with a rebound chance, he scores. Lowe, a little more jump that.
Well, first place is on the line on a Friday night. We wouldn't have it any other way. It's Cody Jeans with you live from the JRC. The Larry Bishop Memorial Cup is live on CROW LAX TV. Calgary Shamrocks taking on the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels. Earlier today, it was the Shamrocks hammering the Crew 20-4. Ben McLean, captain of this team, two-wing player, had 3 assists in that one. One of the leaders of this squad. I'm sure we'll hear his name called a lot this evening in the nightcap for Fort Saskatchewan. Rylan Connors had the game-winning goal, had a pair of them, and 5 points in Fort Saskatchewan's 11-10 win over the Mountain View Mavericks. Both teams are 1-0. Who moves to 2-0? We'll find out after the break.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Jubilee Recreation Center and for Game 5 of the 2025 Larry Bishop Memorial Cup, with your Noy Construction Rebels hosting the Calgary Shamrocks. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise, if you're able, and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
It's the nightcap at the Larry Bishop Memorial Cup. Cody Janes and Aiden Bullsgard with you on CROW LAX TV. Getting set for Saskatchewan Rebels, Calgary Shamrocks, live from the Jubilee Recreation Center, a Friday night. Hey, let's give a quick shout out to our friends down south. Tier 2 Provincials going on, and it's the Chaos Lacrosse Club beating the Calgary Wranglers 11-8 to win their division championships. We got a doozy here. Both teams are 1-0. Aiden, what are you looking forward to in this one?
Well, this is going to be my first time seeing the Rebels in action here on this Friday. They're coming off a close win over the Queen City Kings earlier on today. The Rebels, a team I'm very familiar with throughout the season, one I've got to watch every single game. And I'm excited to see how they come out in a second game of the day, not something you get to experience lots in junior lacrosse. So that response from them, something I'm looking forward to.
Starting goaltenders in this one, Reese Bjarnason goes for the Shamrocks. Didn't play in their South Division Finals. Bowen Carpenter, second game of the day, goes for Fort Saskatchewan. Rebels in their black thread. Second time wearing them today. The Shamrocks are in white. Ref is ready. Ball is down, and we are underway at the JRC. O'Dwyer won the clamp, and Simonson pokes it back. Ashton Johnston is going to try to poke this one. It's going to come right out in front of the net, though. Almost an opportunity there, as Tyler OJ was waiting for it. OJ pushed back by Rebels defender Jack Nickel. Bobbled up top, and that'll be an over and back. No, it won't, as Nickel grabs it. Nickel in transition has Eastwood as the trailer. Eastwood scoops it, trying to go around the world. Little fancy, couldn't get it on goal. Back check, though, he turns on the burners. That's someone you're familiar with in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Spent a little time with the Fort McMurray Oil Barons, I believe, Nolan Eastwood.
Absolutely, that is someone I'm familiar with, but I gotta say I've loved watching him play lacrosse a little bit more here this summer. Very effective out on the floor, Eastwood, especially in that transition game, something you saw there on that last play.
Oh, he's a damn good two-way player in lacrosse, right? Two-sport athlete, who doesn't love that? Shamrocks offense on the floor, lefty swinging across. On the half wall, it'll be Luton Weiler. Little BTB pass inside, another round the world opportunity. Riley Dowswell had a hat trick earlier against St. Albert. This one ends up in the corner, though. 2 around the world attempts in a minute 8 into this game.
Cody, don't you think it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy start to this one, though? I mean, high effect for sure, a lot of good chances, but I mean, bouncing ball, not a lot of good solid possession to start off this one.
You wonder when fatigue takes over from sharpness, as of Connors. Connors now. 2 goals earlier, highlighted in the pregame, had the game winner as well. Reed Lowe with it. Reed Lowe had 2 early. Bounce shot on goal. Bjarnason's got his first stop of the contest.
That's a good looking save that time around. Calm, controlled, holding on to the rebound and moving this ball back the other way.
Shamrocks put up 20 in their opening game. See what they have for store about 5 hours later. Here's Jack Nickel from the Lakeland region. Hands it off, and Calix Simonson, another two-way player, goes to work. Pook will set the picks. Jackson Cohut's up top, veteran on this Rebels squad. Sets the seal, Simonson to the middle. 12 on the shot clock, Low inside. Pook couldn't control, Jolivet has it, trying to spin down low, ends up behind X though. 5 on the shot clock, whips this one inside, goes off the back of a defender in the corner. Shamrocks back the other way. 2 minutes in here, and they have yet to have a shot on goal. This ball got turned over, though, as Knox Despins is in the way. Up for Matthew Vetch. Vetch now one-on-one, got a shot on goal. Bjarnason makes the save. Loose ball, still free game, though, behind the net. Vetch is all alone, though. He only has 2 teammates on the floor, and they're both defenders by the bench.
That was signature Matthew Vetch right there. Run down the floor, make connection with the defender, and fire one on net, something he's been successful doing all season long and trying again here at the Larry Bishop.
Was named the Jackson Porter player of the game earlier for the Rebels as they beat Queen City 11-10. Now a low cut inside. Carpenter not tested as that shot by Lutweiler goes wide. Back the other way, Eastwood and Nickel. 2-on-1 turns to a 2-on-2. Eastwood tries to take the elevator up top, and that's going to be over and back. Quick shot there, it goes. So that snuck through Carpenter. He wasn't ready for it. Liam draws first blood for the Shamrocks.
O'Dwyer, that's called just being ready when the other team isn't. Carpenter lets that one seep through in between his legs. Not ready for that shot, as Cody alluded to there. And a quick 1-0 lead here for the Shamrocks, taking advantage of a little impromptu moment.
He made some big saves earlier for Fort Saskatchewan. That one ends up sneaking behind Bowen Carpenter. He had an .837 save percentage coming into this contest here. Not many of those are sneaking by as Simonson knocks down the pass from Ferrari. Inside, Pook's all alone, stopped by Bjarnason. Rebound for Connors, trying to go 5-hole again.
Dylan Pook, a player for the Rebels, I think you always got to watch. This is second year at the Junior B Tier 1 level, keeping it great this season. He's been doing a great job improving every single game. Shots only getting better for him as well.
Anderson around Despins inside feet. A BTB opportunity there by Nygren, ends up in the corner. Good defense once again by Vetch, and then the stick got knocked out of his hand. Support comes in, and then Scrimshaw. Younger brother of Miller Scrimshaw. That's Hudson Scrimshaw. Hornet But it's going to be an 8-second count on the Rebels. 30 clock resets for Calgary. Riley Dow as well. Picked up in a trade from Red Deer earlier this year. Far side look, they scored. Soren Nygren puts one under.
And that's a great seeing eye shot right there. Great job by the Shamrocks. Lots of movement there on that offensive possession. And great to capitalize. 2-0. Now their lead. Rebels on their heels at home.
Yeah, this is an opportunity you cannot let slip away earlier. In front of the home crowd. I know you can't exactly see the beer garden side, which is the entire other half of the building here, but it is packed on this side as the JRC buzzing, and it's the Shamrocks tinkling the twine twice. Back the other way. Whips one wide. On his backhand, Carpenter has to slide over. Puck forward by Nickel. Eastwood now playing a little defense, scoops this one up, and he'll run right down the middle. Might have a breakaway opportunity. McLean's on his tail. Eastwood knocked to the corner.
That's a great back check that time. Ben McLean, big part of that defensive play for the Shamrocks, leaving no opportunity for the Rebels that time around.
He's been a Shamrock for like 4th year with the club. One of those players that you shake your head of how is he not playing Junior A, but that's just the type of program Jason Crook runs. Guys want to wear the Shamrock sweater. Despens behind the net. Bobbled that loose ball for a second, ends up running right into Lutweiler though. This could be chaos, and the Rebels are cutting it close to an 8-second count here. Reese Walsh will fire it down, maybe half a second to spare. The ref says no go.
Despite the bobble that time, Cody, you're going to want to watch Knox Despens in this game. An absolute bandit, not only on the defensive end, but as well on the forecheck. Another one of those transition players that make the Rebels so good in that part of the floor all season long.
Reese Walsh the other way, had numbers with him, but the transition game hasn't exactly been sharp, and they really haven't set up an offensive possession 5.5 minutes in here. Reed low, down for Connors. Jackson Baker's far side of the floor. Kohut comes in to help. Baker, heavy shot. Bjarnason got that with the right arm. Reset comes, and the rebound falls for Connors. Kohut, Baker, assistant captain, 5th-year forward. Baker, not sure if he was trying to get a pass off there, but that Shamrocks defense is suffocating.
The Rebels just not really able to get anything going so far, and you said it, Cody, the transition game that the Rebels so dearly rely on not hitting right now. It's the Shamrocks all over them.
Gavin Ferrati hands it off, had 6 in the playoffs. That's an opportunity right there by Tyler Ogier. Trying to go stick side on Bowen Carpenter, ends up putting it in the corner though. Shots on goal, 5-3 now in favor of the Rebels. Matthew Vetch will slow this down in the corner. Defender on him, throws one up for Dylan Pook. Kalix Simonson as well out there. Simonson walks it up top. You see Tyler Manning on the near side of your camera screen. Didn't play earlier today. Pook dumps this one down. Simonson, Jolivet. Rebels have numbers. Lowe's denied by Bjarnason. What a start for Reese Bjarnason between the pipes. I know he can ball out. It's not just Chase Misik's net. But the youngster stepped in and he's kicking. Kalix Simonson, little toe drink. One hands it to Pook. Inside, Manning finds it. He's denied.
It's a brick wall right now between the pipes for Reese Bjarnason, but what a steal that time by Lowe.
Lowe now a little toe drag, and it's off the post. He thought it got behind him, and it did, but it catches the skinny red friend of Reese Bjarnason.
All of a sudden, it's the Shamrocks having problems getting up the floor.
Transition attempt, 3-on-2. Bowen's down and he robs him. Oh my goodness, Bowen Carpenter, save of the tournament.
I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. Bowen Carpenter been doing that all season long. Just when he looks like he's out, he's right back in it.
I believe that was Lee on the back door who got stoned. Carpenter keeps it a 2-goal game. If Fort Saskatchewan can't build momentum off that, I'm not sure what they're waiting for. Kohut, 3 to shoot. He's knocked down and he's going to grab his leg here. Shamrocks are going to pull this one back as Jet DePaiva holds on to it, and Jackson Kohut is down on the ground.
This is not a sight you want to see for the Rebels right now. Kohut, a pivotal part of that offense for Fort Saskatchewan, has been for a long time. Reed Lowe coming in to check on him as well, joined by trainer Emma Casella. We're really hoping for Jackson Kohut here. Again, it's only day one of the Larry Bishop. For the Rebels, he would be a big one if he's down.
Well, we've seen a few injuries already and tournament enders for teams already. That's what happens, though, right? When you're playing a lot more lacrosse than you're used to in a shorter time, it's plus 30 outside. It's hot and humid. It's muggy in here. The floor is slippery. You know, these things are bound to happen when you're not playing on turf, and that's just kind of summer ball to sum it up. But for the players as well, that's where you see the championship teams are usually the ones who avoid situations like this and can stay healthy throughout the duration of a 4-day tournament.
It's all about being resilient out on this floor, and that exactly it is going to decide the championship team, who is the most resilient, and again, who can keep those high-skill players on the floor. Cody, you said it. Injuries bound to happen, especially in the JRC. We've seen it here. This floor hasn't been ran on in 3 years, and it's been slippery after the construction, something we saw greatly in the first game back here and has steadily improved, but I think something you're going to need to watch for as this weekend goes on.
So you watch the Rebels all year. What's something that they do better than anyone else in the league, right? They're down 2-0. I know we can talk Shamrocks, but I know you've seen more of the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels. Well, what's something that sets Fort Saskatchewan apart for other teams in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League?
A word that comes to mind for me is they're absolute bandits. You look at a guy like Matthew Vetch, hard on the defensive end. The Rebels provide absolutely no space. It's hard to cut through their 24. Currently always keeping teams to the outside. It makes it hard to penetrate that Rebels defense. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, in transition, the Rebels fast out the gate. And when you have guys like Matthew Vetch, Davin Badjama, guys who are able to stretch the floor so quickly and so effectively, catches teams sleeping and really has resulted in a lot of goals this season for the Rebels and turns out to be a game breaker a lot of the time.
Jackson Kohut still getting attended to by the trainer. There you get a look at the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels bench and Carter Albrecht talking to the defense. Did you ever play against Carter Albrecht? You're probably the best lacrosse player on the broadcast this weekend. Did you ever play against him?
I don't believe in actual regular season action, no. Me and Carter would have played a lot in winter camps against each other. But, yeah, no, there is lots of players on the floor that I got a chance. I'm starting to age out of that category, though. It's dwindling year by year.
It catches up on you quick. Take it from experience.
It does. But guys like the captain for the Rebels, Matthew Vetch, played with him for many, many years. But now it's more so the coaching staff that I'm in with. Miller Scrimshaw, Ethan Peterson, guys I played with for 10 years in my, I was growing up, and honestly, that's why I love to be a part of CROW LAX, why I love to be on the Rebels broadcast. It keeps me involved in a way I can be, as I think after a few years out of it, since the COVID season, I don't think you'd see me running out there anymore.
It catches up on all of us. Hey, you just called the game before here. The Mountain View Mavericks knock off the Queen City Kings. 12-10 the final. Now I'm drawing a blank right now. 12, I believe it was a couple goals there, whatever. Mavs are now 2-0. They'll play Fort Saskatchewan tomorrow. What did you like from Mountain View? What's something that they did that impressed you?
Well, for the Mavs, it was all speed, especially in that first half of the first period. They were just absolutely pushing on Queen City. They couldn't keep up, and Queen City, again, a very gritty team. That's not the game they play. So when they fell out of it, the Mavs able to convert, but you do got to give it to Queen City in that game. They hung in there. We're down 4 goals at one point in the second period, stomped back to make it a 6-6 tie, and then the wheels just happened to fall off again as the games went on, and it was just that high energy effect from the winning team that time that got them that 2-goal lead. A good push by Queen City at the end, but at the end of the day, it's Mavericks who come up with it.
And Wellner Bates in the chat. What's going on, Rebels? Warriors, they had a great rivalry back in the day. That guy was a dog. Founders Cup as well. Some of those Warriors teams were so good to watch. I just seen Sebastian Simonson walk by here too. The junior beast, there's nothing like it. Jackson Kohut getting help off the floor right now. That's tough to see. Again, you never want to see a veteran go out like this, and you got to, you don't want to assume the worst, but we'll keep you updated when we find out what's going to happen for the rest of the tournament here. Fort Saskatchewan already potentially without a few others for the remainder of this tournament. And we're not even through Friday yet here. The nightcap's about 8 minutes in Fort Saskatchewan finds themselves down 2-0. But again, it's sports. You know, if you're going to make excuses, you're probably not going to be lifting a trophy. You got to find a way. This is a team that Darren Bray knows he's got players who can elevate their game, need to elevate their game. And I think that on the offensive side, they still have a lot of players that can, you know, put the ball in the back of the net and need to play better than they have today.
Absolutely, weapons on the offensive side of the floor for sure for the Rebels. I mean, one that instantly pops to mind, of course, is Jackson Baker. I mean, the all-time leader now for the Junior B Tier 1 Rebels in points. That a record he was able to set this year, and an applause from the crowd for Jackson Kohut. Well deserved as he makes his way off. And again, we're hoping here from CROW LAX TV that Kohut will be able to return at some point this season. You saw members of the coaching staff, including Miller Scrimshaw, coming to help him off the floor, and things not looking good for Kohut. But Cody, I do got to say, just to draw it back, when you brought up the Warriors, you were bringing back flashbacks to my playing days once again, as I remember always when you're playing the Warriors in the playoffs, you're always going to hear from the crowd, Warriors. And I swear I still wake up sometimes hearing that in my head, especially in the summer months.
But I think there's a lot of players with nightmares of Tate Pinch as well when that kid was on his prime. Boy, the Cold Lake guy could kick it. All right, back underway. Dozen to go in the opening frame. Shamrocks have the rock. They're in white. They're going left, right on your TV screen. Inside look there early. And Tyler Ojing trying to tuck it short side again on Bowen Carpenter. Maybe they think he's cheating to the far side a little bit. That is where Regina had some success. Going glove side on Carpenter earlier today. Kalix Simonson inside. Manning, wild pass. Somehow Lowe caught that. And it's off the top of the stick of Reese Bjarnason.
That's a great save, being able to track that ball and stick an arm out there. It ends up getting the stick, but breakaway there.
Oh, Bowen Carpenter again on Liam O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer's already got one today. That was a crisp opportunity for a pair.
And there I go, stepping on your feet, Cody. It could have been a breakaway call.
Okay, it's the best time of year. It's hard to get mad at anything in the lacrosse world. Connor's low shot. Bjarnason with the save. He'll dump this one off here. 11 to go. The Rebels are out shooting the Shamrocks, but they trail by 2. Both these teams 1-0 so far in the tournament. Blake Anderson, veteran righty, final year of juniors, dancing around. Longmire wants that backhand pass, and it got knocked down by Ashton Johnston. Now Carpenter throws this one, somehow avoids the light stanchions. Nickel can't corral it though. Turnovers and unforced turnovers for Fort Saskatchewan has been the story of their opening 10 minutes here. Eric Johnson up top. Defender leaves and makes way for the bench. Inside feed, they score. Bit of a crease time, but you can count it. Seth Miller got inside and beat Bowen Carpenter. It's 3-0.
Getting creative that time are the Shamrocks to put another one past Carpenter. And for the Rebels, they need some kind of tide to turn here, some kind of confidence boost. And Cody, that's not always necessarily a goal, but for the Rebels, watching them all year, they need that one moment, that spark that sends them in a positive direction. And you know that's the message on the bench right now that's trying to give them some life here in the first.
No Devin Benjamin, no Ben Reno. You can see the Rebels reeling a little bit here against elite competition nationwide. Shamrocks might be the favorite to win the Founders Cup this year. They're also hosting it in a few weeks' time. Scrimshaw pushed out Saint for a second. They got a shot off, backdoor feed. Carpenter dancing, they score. Oh, defender nowhere near up. Banks this one, it's 4-0.
And that Rebels defense looking a little shell-shocked right now, watching Matthew Vetch and Tej Brown come off the floor that time, watching the fourth goal go past their goaltender. And I don't think this is to any effect on Bowen Carpenter, who's made a couple great saves so far in this game. It's just been pure offensive zone time for the Shamrocks. The Rebels not able to get anything going. Cody, really only one, maybe two solid possessions on the offensive side of the floor.
Yeah, I can't think of a single grade A chance they've really had either. And for the defensive side, they're just getting ran circles around right now. That's not Fort Saskatchewan Rebels defense. Outside look, 9:30 left to go here. Manning off the bench. Big body, he'll set a pick for Reed Lowe. Inside, Baker drops the pass. Another turnover going the other way. Tyler OJ one-on-one with Despens, trying to drop the shoulder. Got bottom side, OJ inside. Another crease dive, they'll wave this one off. Then you gotta wonder as well, Bowen Carpenter a little slow to get up. But if you're gonna be diving in there at the knees, you gotta be a little careful. But the refs will say it's clean. I think they're just gonna call a water break here. I don't think it's actually a penalty though.
And Carpenter again just stretching it out here, so at least showing some movement. No trainer off the bench, so things looking all right. So that's a positive note here for Fort Saskatchewan, who's having some injury troubles early on in this tournament. Carpenter going to walk it off now, go for that water. And in an arena like this, where it's got to be at least, I'd say 25, 26 degrees inside, those water breaks become all that important.
With the humidity, it's got to be more. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at temperatures. I feel like it is more.
It's feeling like South Florida right now.
Yeah, it basically is inside the JRC. Hey, awesome renovations out there. Save that money next time and just buy a AC machine. That would be awesome.
That could be something to think about. I do got to say for the JRC, though, it was quite impressive to walk inside for the first time after those renovations. You don't even know where you're standing anymore, but again, it does have that same muggy feeling, so I think there was something missed in those blueprints.
Yeah, hey, I'm not saying the renovations don't look awesome. Don't get me wrong on that, but I think there's one main component. And with how much lacrosse is here, like this is a hotbed in the area, feels like an oversight. But we're back underway. 9:12 left to go, period number 1. Cody Jansen and Bolsgard with you on CROW LAX TV. Nightcap of the Larry Bishop Memorial Cup, game number 5 on the day. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a long one. Got here probably 7 a.m. Nowhere else I'd rather be, though. Calix Simonson, backdoor feet. Past Jolivet, ends up going right back to him. Little members bounce, caught it in the neutral zone. Ryland Connors now bounce shot, whips it wide. No deflection either, and it's corralled by Armstrong. Armstrong hands this one off for Blake Anderson. 50-year forward, 3 assists in the South Finals. They end up taking care of the Calgary Mounties. Sanderson got it back up top. Inside feed, pass got knocked down by Nickel. And now running up on that's going to be Brown, right in front of the penalty box. Rolls to Manning. Manning missed a bunch of games in season with an injury. He's back now. We'll see if it's at 100% though. Pook finds Lowe. Walks to the restraining line. Simonson on the roll. Put that one right into Bjarnason's crest.
That's one of those basic offensive plays by the Rebels there, Cody, that you need to see more out of here. Just a little bit of a pick and roll, move into open space, let it go. Obviously the shot into the chest that time, but I think that's something the Rebels need to prioritize. Just simple lacrosse out there, getting something going offensively as you're now trailing by 4.
Connors now, another opportunity, but the sights just aren't dialed. That's been multiple, putting right in the pants. Liam O'Dwyer pushing the pace. 2-on-1 opportunity. Ferrati with it, takes it, and he'll ring red. Back all the way to Bjarnason. He'll step out of his crease. Despens is there. O'Dwyer up the floor. Coach Jason Crook says, if not for McLean, O'Dwyer's probably the most vocal leader they have. And that says a lot for a guy who plays 25 minutes a game. At least it feels like it. He's taking draws, he's running in transition, and he's playing the biggest moments on defense for the Shamrocks squad. Rebels happy to kill the clock as Reese Walsh will stand on it.
For the Rebels, that's another positive sign, kind of killing a possession there. And exactly, they're just happy to stand around and wait, as you don't really want to take risks, open anything up here.
Reed Lowe has it. Fort Saskatchewan, the hosts of this tournament, trailing by 4. Eastwood low to low. Bjarnason with the save. It's in his feet somewhere, and Eastwood scores. On the rebound, not the most conventional layup, but it doesn't matter how it gets in the hoop. It's 4-1.
Great job by Eastwood there to track down the rebound. And then on the shot as well, a little odd jumping up in the air while he's doing the fake, but it worked. He got the goalie to posture up and put it low in behind him. And there's a little bit of life for Fort Saskatchewan.
Sometimes that's all you need. Nolan Eastwood didn't score earlier against Regina, just had 1 assist in that game. So he's got his first goal of the tournament for the Rebels. Now the defensive possession becomes big here. Period number 1, 6:10 left to go. Vetch got beat to the inside. One hand on his stick though. Ball hit the concrete, still remains with Calgary. Lutweiler. Knocked down by Desmond. 5 on the shot clock. Ojing, awkward angle twister. Ends up in the feet of the Bowen Carpenter. And Carpenter airmails this one. Micah Thiessen had a strong game earlier. I thought he was one of their better defenders. Him and Matthew Vetch were all over the Kings' top players. Connors out for Pook. Floats one to Reed low. Too many bodies to shoot through. This time's the low to low. That got soaked by the defender. That one's gonna hurt Nolan Highcamp. 3 on the shot clock. Manning trying to grab it in the corner. Won't have any time.
It's another offensive possession for the Rebels that essentially results in nothing. Just suffocated down to a corner, and gotta get less of those going. I know it sounds obvious, Cody, but that is the makeup of a good game. You gotta have strong possessions on both ends of the floor, and for the Rebels, not hitting on any cylinder.
Little flip inside, they score. Once again, what a feed by Ryan. Wow, that was perfectly placed. And the finish comes in the form of Blake Anderson. It's now 5-1.
Anderson, a great job there to kind of tippy-toe that crease line. He was all weight forward, trying to make sure he didn't step inside. Successfully does so. Referee calls it good, and that's a reestablishment of a 4-goal lead for the Shamrocks. Posturing here a little bit, showing that not just one is going to put them on flat on their feet, I should say.
Dowswell had 3 and 3 earlier. Albert CROW had a goal and 5 assists against the Mounties in the Stouts final. Now he's got 2 assists already, and that's a beautiful pass right there. Not much Fort Saskatchewan's defense could do about it. McLean, inside look. Ball got popped up and grabbed by Gavin Ferrani. Again, 6 goals against the Mounties in their lone playoff series. Opportunity knocks. Nichols has to step out on top of Saint. Saint around the wheel, put it on goal. Carpenter made the save, rebounds right there. Stop that one again. Out of the corner, knocks Despins. Got taken down. Reset given to the Shamrocks. Loose ball push is called. 4:20 left to go, period number 1. Calgary up 5-1 on Fort Saskatchewan. Vetch now got beat to the inside. High hit inside. That's not going to get called, though. The refs were watching the shot. Tyler Ojing took one right off the coconut. Pass for Simonson got dropped. Those are the turnovers we're talking about. Rylan Patterson the other way. One of the youngsters on this squad. The coaching staff talked very highly about him as well. His work ethic, his commitment to the game, and boy, it could be a player one day. Here's a little move inside by Dowswell. Defender on him like a backpack. That's going to be a call. They don't score 6 on 5. Now Scrimshaw almost got tripped up. All 3 refs had their hands in the air, so they blew it down before Fort Saskatchewan touched it. I didn't know if there was going to be a second one. Looks like just one, though.
That's exactly what the doctor did not order for the Rebels. But what else do you do on that possession that time, Cody? I mean, Teej Brown, he gets beat. He's got to do something. Otherwise, it's another clean look on his goaltender. And unfortunately, this time it results in a penalty and another Shamrocks opportunity. But the Rebels reeling.
They're just losing one-on-one battles cleanly. I know the Shamrocks are a good team, but the Rebels are looking outmanned here in period number 1. OJ misses the mark. Seth Miller in the lefty shooter spot. Back up top. Little flip pass. OJ was waiting for it. Lutweiler took the shot. Bounces in front, and Bowen Carpenter's got to jump on it. Neeson in the crease will run this one up. Only has a couple seconds to get across half. Just in time. Not a lot to spare on that one. Connors is out to help as well.
It's another strong part of the Rebels game here. Short-handed, ragging down penalty kills. Something they've done well all season long. Not afraid to take hits. Exactly, you'll see pinned up along the boards here. Great job by the Rebels once again.
2 on the shot clock, and ball ends up getting turned over there as Thiessen lost it. Reese Walsh has to get back on the penalty kill. Vetch is out there as well, and now Reese Walsh is going to cause a turnover. Grabbed by Nickel. He'll take the chop to the arm and then whip this one up for the captain, Matthew Vetch. Still 45 seconds or so left on this penalty kill. Vetch tries to split the double team. Still holding on to the ball, and that's the important part. He can kill the next 15 seconds here. Trying to hit Connors. Heard the footsteps, lost the ball. Connors is going to get it again. Shot clock does end up getting reset. Still has it, takes a healthy whack from Liam O'Dwyer. Triple team comes now. Connors is all sorts of tied up. Loose ball ends up on the turf, and Eric Johnston will push this one forward. Shamrocks might get one more look on the power play here. Connors now. He's not happy with the way that shift went. See if the Shamrocks try to go one quick here or if they wait to get back to even strength. Browns out of the penalty box. Look down the middle for Nygren. Bounces this one sky high. Eastwood's got it. Dowswell on the back check. Eastwood trying to get bottom side. Jolovitz there as well. Eastwood inside of the crease and he scores. Air got his second of the game.
Nolan Eastwood looking sharp, a bright spot for the Rebels in this first period, a much needed one, going 5-hole that time, and another in all alone conversion for him. All the confidence in the world with the ball in his pocket. Will return to center once again, Cody. The Rebels only down by 3 here. This is lacrosse, a 3-goal lead simply can disappear in seconds. We'll see what happens as we go on.
Yeah, I think you saw that earlier in the last game between Mountain View and Queen City. Those leads were evaporating left, right, and center. Ball over to Dylan Pook. Has to corral it as Liam O'Dwyer chases him down. Jackson Baker, veteran, inside feed. Oh, loose ball push is going to get called on Connors. Reed Lowe took a beating inside as well.
He was a little slow moving as he made his way to the bench, possibly trying to get some to go his way as well. I'm sure you'll see Connors out on the next shift. That's another one of those tough Rebels offensive players that takes a beating all the time as their movement through the middle is next to none as well, and they're not afraid to take those hits.
Leutwiler on Despot, size mismatch. Trying to go bottom side. 5 on the shot clock. Nygren from range. Rebound ends up right in the slot, and that's been one of the issues for Bowen Carpenter here is those freebies ending up in the slot. Luckily, his defense bails him out on this one. Reese Walsh hands it. Surprised they're not putting Carpenter on the bench and going 6-on-5 here. End of the period. Simonson over to Pook. Manning through the middle. Lowe has it again. 4 to shoot, and it slips out. It's gonna count down. I don't know, maybe you gotta swap the ball out. That thing was slipping all over the place. I don't know if it's the humidity in here or if these guys are getting tired, but that was a bit of a sloppier period for both teams, I would say, as the period went along.
I would agree, Cody. I mean, the Shamrocks obviously able to capitalize as the chances came together, but as you alluded to at the end of that period, I thought a weird play for the Rebels to just let the clock dissipate at the end of that one and go for a 5-on-5 chance when you could have slowed it down and gone 6-on-5 to try to draw within 2 headed into that middle frame. Overall, I think lots to chat about in that Rebels locker room over the next 10 minutes for the Shamrocks. Going to be more positive, but I don't think we've seen the best out of them either.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's a confidence, fatigue issue, whatever it is. They got 40 minutes to dial it in. We're 20 down, 40 to go. 5-2 Calgary Shamrocks lead. Reese Bjarnason was awesome in period number 1. He made 14 saves, and that's what his Shamrock squad's up by 3. We're back with the second period after the break. back inside the JRC. It's game number 5 on a Friday night. It's Junior Beast After Dark. Cody Jansen and Bolsgard with you as the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels taking on the Calgary Shamrocks. The visitors from down south up 5-2 after 20 minutes of play. Got the scoring was Liam O'Dwyer. Kicked things off, and then they added 4 more, 2 out of the stick of Blake Anderson. Soren Nygren with 1 more, as did Seth Miller. They're 0 for 1 on the power play, though. Shots on goal, 16-15 in favor of Fort Saskatchewan Rebels. 2 goals out of the stick of Nolan Eastwood. Bowen Carpenter made 10 saves in the opening frame.
Coming into this second period, me and Cody talking in the intermission, and I think something we can agree on, we need to see a grittier performance out of the Rebels here in this next 20 minutes. That's what's going to do it. Getting beat to loose balls, losing those one-on-one battles is not a great recipe for success. The Shamrocks exposing that right now on the Rebels. I think something you'll see on that shot board. The Rebels narrowly leading it. They're getting the balls towards the net, but not able to get those high opportunity shots on to the Shamrocks goaltender. And that's what you need to do. You need to penetrate the middle, be willing to bang bodies, recover those loose balls. And you see on Nolan Eastwood's first goal there, again, it's penetrating the middle, getting that rebound, and getting that ball to the back of the net. That is Rebels lacrosse. That is the identity they need to get back to. Cody, we're nearing the start of this second period. What is your keys to success here for the host team?
Yeah, the offense just has to start hitting their shots. You know, we saw it. They were getting to the middle a couple of times, but then they're pumping them right in the chest, right? And that's, you know, Reese Bjarnason, good position and all, not to discredit anything there. But you got to start hitting some pipes here if you want to beat the Calgary Shamrocks. That's one heck of a squad that those guys have over there. And so Calgary coming in here looking to play spoiler in front of a busy crowd. They've been playing real well. Now for Fort Saskatchewan, taking a holding call early. It's not exactly what you want to do, is let this Shamrocks power play heat up.
So the Rebels down a man once again, and I'm sure the chat in the intermission was, don't take any penalties, play hard, but make sure you're staying within it, as we have a game to grind our way back into. That plan already following off, as a Jack Nickel going to be headed to the box for 2 minutes, and a Shamrocks power play underway.
As their guy Wes Kendall in the chat said, great reffing here. Chris Hanley, Killen Thanen, Noah Johnston are the officials in this contest. Shamrocks power play underway. They're 0 for 1 in the first period, unable to capitalize. Tyler Ogier's up top, though. Carpenter made the save. Rebound popped high and bounces to the crease. Reset comes, though. Nick Lutweiler, big righty, can absolutely rip the pill. Ogier's up top. Low to low, scores. There's the power. 6 seconds in, it's 6-2 Shamrocks.
Shamrocks convert on the power play, and again, putting a staple here in the Rebels, letting them know they're here, and they're here to stay, not only tonight, but in this tournament. The Fort Saskatchewan Rebels coming in as a heavy favorite this weekend for the Larry Bishop, and the Shamrocks making a bit of a statement here through the first portion of this contest.
They're a confident group. Before this one, heard the conversations of who they want to pick up for the Founders Cup from Fort Saskatchewan. They don't exactly see their opponent worthy competitor on all angles. Rebels defense so far, though, has had far too many holes compared to their earlier game at 11-10 win over Regina. Another inside look. Carpenter's got to be sharp as Gavin Ferrati got to the middle. Rebels throw one away. It's an unforced turnover, and the Shamrocks offense can buzz right back.
That's exactly the kind of mistakes that the Rebels can't continue to make. We saw them in the first period. Now it's carried over into the second. Things got to clean up, and they got to clean up quick.
Shamrocks have already punched their ticket to Founders. They're hosting the dance starting on August 18th. Little move inside by Nygren. He's pushed back by Nickel. Hands free. Carpenter's got to make the save. Rebound opportunity was there, but Blake Anderson, heavy shooter. That rebound popped right out. I think it was Ogier with the opportunity. Took a bit of a hit there as well.
Eastwood, the man running the interference that time. Nolan Eastwood continuing to have a strong game on both sides of the floor. Again, a bright spot for the Rebels, but I think Eastwood the reason that doesn't turn into a high danger opportunity that time.
Jackson Baker, 10 on the shot clock here. He'll cycle back. Up top, Eastwood lets it fly, and he scores. That's Nolan Eastwood has 3.
I'm a prophet, Cody. I was just talking about it. I said Eastwood been the main man for the Rebels so far in this contest. A great defensive end play turns into a great offensive end play, and that is the hat trick for Eastwood, having himself a great one here, and hopefully that spark that his team needs starting to play for him as he's having a good one. Can the Rebels find their way back in it? Again, a little bit of a spark, but they gotta turn that into a fire.
Yeah, you need 19 going though here, and hopefully that can fire up his squad. Back the other way, McLean. Almost missed that pass. Almost worked out in their favor though. Lutweiler inside feet. Ball bouncing up. Reese Walsh getting into it with McLean. Captain of this Shamrocks squad. Was really impressed with him against the CROW. I know that it's a team effort. They were really dominant, but I thought McLean has continued to elevate his game over the course of his junior beat career. Now it's Matthew Vetch. Had Manning on the right side. Low handed down to him on the half wall. Low trying to set a pick. Manning spin. Big wind up. Trying to go high to low this time. Ends up behind the net for Connors. Connors finds Pook. Baker. Long range shot. Connor trying to grab it in the middle. Swarm of bodies. It's going to be on someone's shoelace here. Nolan Highcamp. Another big body. Lefty defender runs it up the floor. Shamrocks will love to run in transition if they get those opportunities as well, but getting that transition requires getting to the bench a little bit quicker than that. It is their second game of the day, though. Aaron feed by Blake Anderson. Off the glass, all the way back to Lutweiler. Threw in a knuckleball. Carpenter makes a save, and Nickel runs it up the floor here.
The Rebels not a bad offensive possession last time. I thought it showed a lot of effort from them. It ended up in a turnover, but I think they were hard on the loose ball, generated a couple opportunities. See if they can build off that here.
Low to Baker. He steps in and puts that one 5 meters wide. Sometimes those just don't come out of the pocket cleanly, and that's exactly what happens. As Ashton Johnson went on the floor and his stick was broken. Didn't even throw a cross-check or anything. It just disintegrated in his paws.
Gripping the stick maybe a little bit tight. Your team's up by 3. No reason for that right now.
I don't see that too often there. Aaron Say takes the shot. Save made by Carpenter. Simonson's up the floor if he can hit him with a pass. Simonson finds Vetch. Pook looking for the breakaway feed, and Vetch whips one in the corner. Little members bounce out of the corner. He'll settle this one down. Pook up top for Simonson. Had a massive game against St. Albert in the North Final. Penalty coming against Calgary. Connors. Simonson. Simonson flips this one back. Connors now trying to knock it in the corner. I'm not sure he knew there was a delayed penalty coming, but a cross check is being called, and I believe that's Dryden Lee going to the sin bin.
This is a big moment for Fort Saskatchewan in this contest. Finally getting on a man advantage, trailing by 3, but you pull within 2. That door is wide open once again to make a comeback into this game. I think the Rebels have had a better period so far, showing a little more energy out there. Let's see if they can make something happen here on the man advantage.
Calix Simonson up top on this power play unit. Remember, no Jackson Cohunt. He left the game with a leg injury in that opening period. Low, threw a fake and he scores. He caught him looking at Vancouver, bounces this one under the bar. It's a power play marker. The Rebels are within 2.
And that's another thing me and Cody talking about in the intermission is Reed Lowe and his ability to get lost on offense. Just a man who's able to evade the defenders, make sure nobody's watching him, and again, looking like he's gonna send a pass back out to his shooter, but just firing one low, beating his man and getting his team back within 2. The Rebels alive and well at home.
Well, they've matched their first period goal output in the first 5 minutes of this middle frame here. Reed Lowe on the power play marker, and now Vetch is going to float this one high. Jolivet had it knocked back the other way. Highcamp looking across the floor. Had Soren Nygren cutting through the middle, decides to wait it out, and he'll find Nick Lutweiler. 4 goals against the Mounties in that South playoff series. Inside cut, Carpenter, a massive save on Dowswell. Rebound gets grabbed by Leutwiler again. Pass got knocked down by Vetch, I believe. Feeds it up to Connors. Bobbled the pass, now he'll settle it. Jolivet doesn't end up setting the pick. Tyler Manning coming in. Connors looking up top. He's got Jolivet there, wide open, hands free. Big save by Bjarnason right there.
Little bit of a different look on this Rebels offense now. They're starting to try to get low on the Shamrocks defense that is making those openings up high, just like that last play you saw there for Jolivet, who was able to get a clean shot on net.
Aaron Singh, far half wall. Inside feed intended for Dowswell. Now Micah Thiessen evades a bit of a cross check, and he's got 4 seconds to get this over half. Airmails one. That's probably not the look you want. Eric Johnson picks it off like a safety. Dowswell off the bench. Didn't like what he saw there. Surprising. For a guy who can put the ball pretty much anywhere he wants in the net, he could not have seen much on Bowen Carpenter for him to pull that one back. Leutwiler. Dowswell. Anderson's in there moving bodies around. Now Anderson's going to try slip inside. Long range, Nygren bounces this one wide. Reese Walsh might have a break if it can get to it, but it's a couple feet out of his reach. Lowell have it in the corner. Fort Saskatchewan being outshot by 2 so far in this one. 7 minutes into period number 2. Calix Simonson as the blue kicks on. Down to Manning. Manning's inside, denied by Bjarnason. Liam O'Dwyer now up the floor. Here's Nolan Highcamp pushing the pace. Highcamp step back on his backhand to the forehand. Save made by Carpenter.
There's a little bit of that stretch play action you were mentioning the Shamrocks could get to.
And when you've just got the body structure of Highcamp, you can fly. Your strides are like 1.5 of the average person. He uses it to his advantage. Honestly, a good look there. Bowen Carpenter up to the task for the Rebels. Connors finds Baker. Baker now trying to drive right into a defender. Far side, scores! Snip the lead in half. We got a 1-goal ball game.
Jackson Baker, the all-time leader in points for the Junior B Tier 1 Rebels, showing why he is holding that record right there, finding a way into the back of the net, and just like that, the Rebels are back within 1 in this high event second period. It feels like we've been through 2/3 of a period, but we're only 7 minutes and 45 seconds in, 46 seconds in, I should say. It's been exciting. The Rebels finding the Shamrocks starting to look like the floor's tilting the other way now.
Ferrati back the other way. He's flying down the floor. Carpenter got it with that right hand. Fort Saskatchewan has to be careful. Ball goes up to Jack Nickel. Transition threat. Nickel now. 2-on-3. Wisely decides not to rip it. Pook. Outside shooter. Waits for some help. 3 righties on the floor. Low with the bouncer. This one won't be kept over half by Simonson. I don't mind the shot. If you're feeling it, might as well. It's a bit of a heat check there.
Hey, you gotta try, and I think especially in this situation, the Rebels now are starting to see things go. That gets you a little more confidence, and the Shamrocks going to try to push back here and reestablish a multiple-goal lead.
There it goes. The response by Seth Miller. Rips one. Bowen Carpenter. The lead's back up to 2.
A profit. This is what I was trying to tell you, Cody. It seems like as I speak it happens. It's a good thing I'm not a homer. Try not to be. You never know what could happen, but the Shamrocks show they're still here, still kicking in the second period. Not going to let the Rebels right back into this one.
Yeah, that's a big response for Jason Crook and company. I know maybe there's a little bit of pressure or a thought to use a timeout when things aren't exactly going your way. Instead, you get a response from a guy like Seth Miller, who's been in the league for 5 years. It's a big-time play by a team that's hosting the Founders Cup.
Opportunity for the Rebels here in the offensive zone to show that they can strike back as well, and that's not going to do it. There goes my hot streak, Cody.
Bit of a weird backhand pass there. There's 2 turnovers within 10 seconds. Junior beast after dark. Never know what's going to happen on the floor. Pook down for Baker. He's got one in the game. Over to Reed low. Tried to quick stick it. Bjarnason read him like a book. Now he's going to whip this one 200 feet. Longmire got in the way of McLean, and sometimes that's all you need.
Really, that's a high athletic play that time by Reed Lowe to jump in the air and still be able to get that one onto the net. I don't mind that opportunity at all, and it just shows good effort. Reed Lowe trying to get himself involved in this game. Already has 1 on the board.
Eastwood, little BTB, and I believe that caught crossbar. Eric Johnston, 3-on-2. Put one over the head of Kalen Snee. Snee trying to go backdoor that time. Gavin Ferrati was there. But a slashing call coming on Reese Walsh and the Shamrocks. Go to the power play. 3rd time in the game.
Nolan Eastwood feeling it out there for the Rebels. Tries the behind the back shot. Already has 3 in this game. Looking for number 4 with a little accent on it. But nonetheless, momentum shut down for Fort Saskatchewan here, at least for the next 2 minutes. Shamrocks head to another power play after converting on their last, trying to get back to a 3-goal lead.
7-5 Calgary leading. About 15 seconds away from a goaltender water break as well at the next whistle. Rebels will try to survive. OJ's up top. Flips it to Lutweiler. Vetch all over his forward, and Johnston now trying to spin out of traffic, and he ends up throwing this one into the penalty box. Last place you want to put it.
Second time we've seen the Rebels do that in this period, at least that time under pressure. Before that, not. And it looks like we're headed into our second TV timeout.
That is his backup
of this
stick, though. We'll give him a pass. That's his backup stick. He broke his other one a few minutes ago. But end of the day, you're comfortable if you put that 200 feet down the floor. Putting it in the netting about 55 feet to your left, not ideal.
Not what the Rebels were looking for at all, but I didn't notice that. So backup stick, I mean, we'll give it to him there. I got to agree with you there, Cody. But
I'm just making excuses. I know excuses are for losers, but hey, I haven't lifted a trophy.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, Cody, I do have a question for you here. You're on the Shamrocks bench right now. You've been pushed by the Rebels in this period, but have got yourself back in the driver's seat with a 2-goal lead. Good response from them, but what are you talking about in this little timeout here on this power play? Are you hyping the boys up? Are you trying to put a little bit of a nail in the coffin in this second period? Or what's your speech if you're the coach?
I think if you're Jason Crook and company, and Crook is the one with the clipboard right now. I know James Johnson's there as well. Boy, anyone who got to watch him play juniors, that was something special. But I think it's just foot on the pedal here. You know, you don't want to let this Rebels team hang with you. And if you got a chance to really separate this, we've seen it. 3 goals, not that comfortable of a lead against a team like Fort Saskatchewan. They're a top 4 team, and you know, there's 4 teams competing for 3 spots. And Fort Saskatchewan's one of them. So if you're the Calgary Shamrocks, you'd prefer not to play the extra game on Sunday if you don't have to.
I would agree with that one, and I think the Rebels on this penalty kill is going to be a big telltale of their possibility of getting on top in this game. You have to shut down the Shamrocks as they got all the time in the world here on this power play.
OJ up top. Lutweiler's on his left. Now he's in the middle. OJ low-to-low scores. Almost a mirror image. Goal earlier in the period.
Shamrocks able to get on the board on this power play, reestablish a 3-goal lead, and just like that, the Rebels' work they've done in this second period starting to dissipate. I mean, they were down by 4 at one point. We're not quite there again, but the Shamrocks rolling right towards it, and the Rebels need to stop the bleeding here once again before it gets too far away. Not a lot of mistakes left to give here in this second period.
Simply put, you just can't be box. It burned him multiple times now. McLean's the other way. This is going to be a break for Nickel. Jack Nickel trying to catch up to it in the corner. Bobbled it for a second, cut back to the middle, let it fly. Save made by Bjarnason.
That's some great speed by Nickel. Anybody who played lacrosse, watches lacrosse, they know that second bounce of the ball is always the one you got to watch out for, and for Nickel to be able to catch up to that one regardless, well done by him. It looks like we're going to require a little wipe of the floor here, though.
Yeah, it's you said plus 26 in here. I feel like that's an understatement. There's no way it's not warmer than that, especially with the humidity.
I think we're looking at...
That streak on the floor is outrageous as well. That is way too big for someone to go flying there. You can see Bowen Carpenter's got his helmet off also. He is absolutely gassed there. You can go to work. There's like 5 kids just trying to get rid of this, and I think it's a hopeless cause.
Yeah, this is looking like the Briar out there. Sweep, sweep. That's a long slip and slide right there. And when we're not curling, so bodies are not rocks. We don't want to see them slide across this floor. And a great volunteer crew here at the Larry Bishop. A lot of minor Fort Saskatchewan Rebels out here to help out. A great thing to see, I think, for the game of lacrosse, especially in Fort Saskatchewan. Cody, I remember when I was 12, 13 years old coming to a Junior B Rebels game. I mean, back even when they were still in the Tier 2 division, and it was an electric time, especially on a Saturday. If you were a part of those minor Rebels, you got to come out, meet the players, play lacrosse in the intermissions, and I can't wait for that to pick back up here in the JRC. As it went under renovations, that died down in their movement to the Dow, but having the Larry Bishop here, seeing these players out here, I think a beautiful thing and a great sign for Fort Saskatchewan lacrosse.
Yeah, this place was absolutely buzzing, and everyone loves to play here unless you're wearing purple, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is the Rebels had built a culture here, have built a culture. It's good to see it picking back up. You know, you can see it on the beer gardens half, which is behind the benches, where it is very full. The other side, not as much. It's also 9:38 on a Friday night and a long weekend. I'm sure there's a good chunk of people at the lake. And I think as the weekend goes along, barring the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels are in the mix, I think this shaker continues to grow.
You make that mention of wearing purple in the JRC. Cody, I was Rebel for life coming up and then drafted to the St. Albert Crude in Junior B Tier 1. It was, tough pill to swallow, but hey, I appreciate the opportunity. Only made it halfway through training camp before COVID hit, but hey, that's my little retirement speech for you.
Oh, outside look there by Soren Nygren. They Bowen Carpenter by the boots here. That's another. It's 9-5.
And that's that 4-goal lead come back to fruition for the Shamrocks, showing great resiliency, something we didn't see in quite so many goals in that last game between Queen City and the Mavericks. But again, the Mavericks had large leads at any given point. Queen City worked their way back into it, but then striking back and taking a chokehold were the Mavericks. Something similar we're seeing in this game. The Rebels worked their way back in the second period, but as things continue to wind down, the Shamrocks just showing they have a little. The Rebels need something to flip on its head here to get back in this one.
Yeah, gas in the tank maybe plays into it, but it's those clean looks. The defender, you got to get stick on hands. There's just no other option for that. Here's Manning, spin move inside, save made by Bjarnason. Manning can't play this one.
I wonder if you start to see some different looks here offensively for the Rebels, something they have gone to throughout the regular season.
McLean with it. Little dip and dunk, and he scores. Somehow stayed out of the cylinder and tucks that one over the shoulder of Carpenter.
This now the largest lead of the game for the Shamrocks. Visible frustration for the Rebels. This group, again, needs to find a way, but the Shamrocks playing great lacrosse now, I think, in this second period. Of course, still those bobbles that I think we were seeing in the first, but they look more connected now, look like there's a plan every time they cross that middle mark of the floor, and they are making the Rebels pay, not only when they're up a man, but now 5.
Yeah, and it all started with that Seth Miller goal. I think that really turned the tides, you know, kind of flipped the switch on the bench to say, hey, this isn't a close game in our minds, and they're really flexing now. Up 10-5. Connors. Couple of spin moves. Baker now wrong side of the road, takes a big hit. Back for Pook. Pook now cuts inside. Save made by Bjarnason, but didn't matter. He stepped in the crease.
Just thinking about feeling old here, Cody. Dylan Pook, actually the younger brother of Connor Pook, who I played with growing up, and he's actually a year younger than me yet. So Yeah, never mind, actually. We're just going to move on from that topic.
Yeah, that tree gets awfully tall when you start to look at players you've played against and their connections. Scrimshaw battling for a loose ball here. 10 on the shot clock. He'll run it up the floor. Hudson Scrimshaw, little brother of Miller Scrimshaw, Founders Cup champion with the Edmonton Warriors.
Hell of a golfer, too, I can tell you that.
Simonson, tended for Connors. Manning doesn't grab it cleanly off the wall. Neither does Jolivet. 10 seconds on the shot clock here. Connors defended by McLean. Long bounce there. Bjarnason makes the save. Ball goes sky high. Scooped up by the Shamrocks. The loose ball battle and those 50-50 balls are going about 90% Calgary way here. They are dominating in that fashion.
That a telltale of pretty much any lacrosse game. Watch who is winning those 50-50 battles, and you're absolutely correct. It is heavily in the Shamrocks' favor, and so is this score.
Lutweiler, hands free in the middle. Whips it off the end boards, and Nygren unable to get to it before it bounces into the benches. Ashton Johnson picked it up off of the bench, and a cross-check right in the numbers by Kalen Snee. Not aggressive by any means, but it's a cross-check in the back. Eastwood for Baker. Low. Put it on goal, big save. Now Eastwood took some liberties with his defender, and things are gonna heat up real quick here. Kalen Snee and Nolan Eastwood had a hold of each other by the jersey. Cooler heads prevailed pretty quick.
Eastwood running over his man that time, not letting anything get in the way. Despite being behind in this game, Eastwood's confidence still leaking out of him right now, but it's another good opportunity for the Rebels. Again, no game is over until it's over. Stepping onto a power play, a large moment for them in this game. But Cody, I hate to say things like this in the second period of a lacrosse game. 6:15 left on the clock, but this feels like one you gotta have.
Yeah, and it's little undisciplined plays like that start to make you think as it slipped away already from Fort Saskatchewan. You know, when you're worried about taking liberties on a defender instead of putting the ball in the back of the net, that's becoming a bit of an issue here as Nolan Eastwood, despite playing his case, will need a better lawyer to stay out of the sin bin.
Eastwood arguing for the next call, we'll say right now, but you're not going to find your way out of that box. You may as well soak it, and that's what Eastwood's going to have to do, and all that momentum he's had himself in this game going to wash away just like that, as we're going to have a little bit of 4-on-4 lacrosse, I believe, here, Cody, which will open things up, which I think as this game is going is only going to benefit the Shamrocks more. Their ball movement has been better. Picking up those loose balls has been better. And if that can continue into some more open lacrosse, I think we're going to see a little more action on the offensive end for them than the men wearing black.
Yeah, and Snee's going to get the first penalty here for the cross-check in the neutral zone where he knocks down Ashton Johnson. And then Eastwood was the one who laid the big hit in front. Not sure exactly what they're trying to swap out or sort out by the penalty box there. Eastwood's going off. They haven't put times up. I was thinking maybe they're thinking it's a 4-minute. No, maybe they just, that feels like way too much conversation for just two minor penalties here. Pitter patter, let's get at her. It's 9:45 at night. This is game number 5. Conversation will still continue. It'll be Shamrock's ball when we come back. They're up by 5, 6:15 left to go. Another 5-goal period for them so far. Still plenty of time left to go. They'll start with it up top, and it'll be Seth Miller. Couple of goals in the game for the lefty. And now we get a break for a wipe of the floor. Feels like that could have been done when the conversation was going on.
This, that, and everything right now going on except lacrosse is what's happening out on this floor at the JRC right now. Again, great job to the volunteers getting out there and doing their thing. Shamrock's goaltender letting them know where he wants it wiped and how he wants it done. And when you're a hot goaltender like he has been today, I guess you have the right to ask those questions and state those things.
21 saves for Reese Bjarnason so far, and he's played 30. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Back in the way, Seth Miller goes for a jog. Fifth-year forward out of Calgary. Miller up top. Nygren. Pass goes through him. Finds OJ. OJ's on a hat trick watch. He's got 2 already. Both are on the power play. Middle look. They score. Nick Lutweiler by for his first of the game.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, Cody, when I mentioned coming to 4-on-4 play, is that extra open floor, the better movement from the Shamrocks, ball movement, foot movement, getting to balls and just opening up the seams in the Rebels creates a great shot from the point that time, and it's put behind Carpenter, and it continues to roll for Calgary.
Well, if you're the Rebels, you need someone to step up in a big 6. You know, this is one of those situations where a big hit or a fight isn't getting you back into it. Someone's got to put the ball in the back of the net and get this running if they want to make this a game here. Aaron Singh zips it across the floor. Dowswell to the middle. Dowswell trying to throw a twister. Ends up in the crease. Now Johnston gives him the business. The other way, it's Matthew Vetch. Vetch is going to go one-on-one, fires and scores. Captain comes through. It's the 6th of the game for the Rebels.
Again, going back to Vetch, he converts that time, but some you've seen out of him all year long. Loves that shot. That time not engaging with the defender, which isn't typical of him. Likes to feel the contact before he puts it in the back of the net, but that time just choosing to opt for the little bounce shot to the right side of the net, and it makes its way home. The Rebels, a tough hill to climb here, but their captain leading the march.
I feel like you got to bring it with him by the end of the period, and then you can at least go into the intermission feeling all right about yourself. But sitting at 5 right now, 1's a start. You better get on a roll quick.
And I think that's got to be the conversation.
See, and that's the crease dive where it gets dangerous. Understandably so. The Rebels are not happy about this as their star goaltender gets taken out. We'll see if he's all right here. Rebels are going after the wrong guy if they're looking for the one who actually hurt their goaltender. Bowen Carpenter is looking a little bit worse for wear, and I wonder if we see Martel come between the pipes. You don't want to risk injury ever. But in the second game of the day in a long tournament, you cannot be having something like this. And I think that now the conversation becomes, is that a 2 or a 5?
That is a heavy dive through the crease, Cody, and I mean, watching the replay there, you can see the intention trying to get across the net, but again, just a little bit too deep, and we're hoping for Carpenter here to see him get back to his feet sooner than later, getting checked out once again by trainer Emma Casella. Already for her liking, probably had way too much of a busy day, and for Casella, I mean, obviously doing a great job helping the Rebels out, but for any trainer, your goal is to stay on the bench.
Well, it looks like Carpenter's going to be okay, though, as he gets up. That's a bit of the issue with the summer ball rules, though, is that, you know, they say no crease dives, and then they allow crease dives that are considered okay, and then you put your goaltender in dangerous spots, whereas in the National Lacrosse League, crease dives are accepted, goaltenders know what to expect, and they're actually prepared for it, and so you see a lot less injuries like that. Whereas now, you know, kids don't know how to crease dive, but oh, the ref let it go. Now I'm going to go fire myself at someone's knees, and that's when you risk serious injury.
And something that I think really, I know there's still lots of game to be played, but with a 5-goal lead, is it necessary to take that chance? I mean, if you're the Shamrocks, of course, every ball you want to see hit the back of the net no matter how it happens, but I just don't think that's a play you need to make at this point of the contest.
Yeah, it's a risky one for sure, but a long discussion. I think the longer the discussion goes, the more it leans towards a minor penalty, am I right?
I would agree with you. Usually when you're going to see a major penalty called on the floor, it's very absolute, especially at such an intense time of year like this. If you're going to make that judgment call, you better be damn right about it. And I agree with you, Cody. as this conversation continues even further and Vetch makes his way back to the bench, I gotta say, I think it's gonna be a 2.
Maybe if we got any resident refs in the chat, they can jump in on YouTube and let us know what their call would be. Hey, also on CROW LAX TV, do you want to give a little bit of love to Tier 2 provincials going on this weekend? I know the Lloyd Extreme are taking on the Sylvan Lake Yetis. And, well, we mentioned it. That's going to be the end of the night for Nick Lutweiler. Not that I think he's a dirty player by any means. I've got to see him play a ton, and he's a heck of a ball player. It's just not the smart move, right? And I think that's why a major penalty gets called, because some serious injury could happen.
For the Rebels, probably the best outcome out of that, though. I mean, Carpenter's still on his feet, looking sharp, and now you're looking at a hefty amount of power play time that cannot disappear on you. So for the Rebels, if there was ever a recipe in this game to try to make them competitive, it's probably this one.
All right, out of town scoreboard down south. The Sylvan Lake Yeti are up 7-5 on the Lloyd Extreme. I know the boys down south are covering that tournament on CROW LAX TV. Conversation's going to happen, and I believe they're going to give the Rebels one as well. So it'll be Shamrocks ball the way they're pointing.
And that's one of those things, as a player, you always want to stick up with your teammate. We saw a similar situation between the Mavericks and the Queen City Kings. But just based on game situation, maybe got to be a little better as that one's going down.
So Knox Despins took a major for cross-checking.
So take one and give one right back. And the Rebels, now that recipe not looking so good. The soup a little salty, as they say. Not looking great. That was almost the opportunity they needed. Everybody came out of it uninjured, but no advantage given.
Well, Bowen Carpenter is okay, and that's the big one there, obviously. We get another look at it here, just going back on YouTube. And clearly, again, you know, the first play sets it off. The conversation's going to continue, though. I'm just trying to look and see where this Despin's cross-check major is. I don't know. I can't see it on the YouTube feed. Maybe it was behind the play or something. Nonetheless, I guess they saw a major, and it'll be 3-on-3. Oh, no, they're not going to go down to 4-on-4 because of the 2 minors.
Interesting.
So if it would be 2 minors, it would go down to 3-on-3, but since they're majors, I guess they just wipe them out.
Coincidental?
Yeah, we need a ref in the chat ASAP as possible here, because something. It'll be Shamrock's ball as Tyler Auger awaits up top. 5:09 left to go in the second period. Auger defended by Matthew Vetch. Been really impressed with him this game as well. Downs well. Takes a bit of a knockdown. Ball ends up bouncing into the Shamrocks bench, though. Riley Dowswell awaits up top. He'll go down to Auger. Longmire defending him. Auger got free. Looking for a pick and pop through a twister on goal. Carpenter makes that save, and down on his feet, he'll scoop it up.
Look at the stick for Longmire that time, and looking good with the fully traditional stick there. That one's got to hurt on the hip of the defender, or the offensive team for the Shamrocks.
Connor over to Baker. Baker inside, put it on goal, and now he'll take drive right into the goal, and you see it called at the one end, and it's going to get called at the other as Baker, oh, they're not going to call Baker. This thing got pushed in.
So now a little bit of a break, I believe, for the Rebels.
Shamrock's bench is not thrilled about that one.
Especially after taking a penalty, a major penalty for that same reason only moments ago. Baker,
well, I do think one was a little worse than the other, but I thought just with, you know, the player driving inside. Shamrocks obviously up in arms. Again, they're starting goaltenders on the bench here, so I don't think that there's a crazy intent to injure or anything like that. It's not where you know, you see it in like the President's Cup and tournaments like that where it just gets absolutely out of hand. When things start to, the score starts to separate. You see a little bit more chaos and maybe intent to injure here and there. But Jason Crook is giving the refs an earful what he thinks about that play. Nonetheless, Rebels are going to the power play here. It'll be their third power play of the game. They're 1 for 2 so far.
And you mentioned, Cody, that if you're the Rebels going into that second intermission, you want to be within 3 to at least have a bit of a positive conversation to have. Again, these one of those opportunities that can get you closer to that goal. Only need to score 2 to be there.
Connors up top. Coincidentals come out of the sin bin, so that's why it's 5-on-4 now. Baker has it. Righty strong look. Reed Lowe is behind the net. Pook over to Lowe. Lowe up top. Baker through some traffic, ends up behind the cage. 2 to shoot. Lowe gets wallpapered behind the net. He's slow to get up here. Running the other way is Stepaiva. Head of steam. Stepaiva inside. He's denied by Carpenter. Connors back on defense. Rebels still have 80 seconds left to go on this power play here. Eastwood up the floor in transition, scores.
Goal number 4, Cody, for Eastwood. It just keeps finding its way home. Reed Lowe, though, just watching him behind the play, still a little slow to the bench, but was able to get back into that offensive play for the Rebels, so that at least a bit of a positive note, but nonetheless, back within 4 once again for Fort Saskatchewan.
Well, it's a 4-goal game. What did we say? Bring it within 3?
Yeah.
And I think you're going into the intermission being like, all right, we might as well tie our shoes up. Now the Rebels didn't have a face-off guy out there. Simonson was getting his stick fixed. So they call him for the violation, give the Shamrocks possession. Again, it feels like we've been here for 2 hours and haven't even finished a second period. Another crease dive right there. Ball got blown down. Massive wet streak back in Carpenter's crease there. This is outrageous. Just ban the crease dive on concrete for that reason alone. Lowe has it up top. Looks like he's feeling all right. Manning, big body right, trying to drive through traffic. Taken down, ball goes to Pook. Manning has to get out of the crease though. Pook let it fly. Bjarnason with the save. Now Lowe ended up giving his defender a good shot there and Dryden late. Bjarnason looking to throw this one up the floor. Has Poncelet. Poncelet passes just a little bit high for Nolan Highcamp. Carpenter floats one over to Scrimshot. 2:40 left to go in the second. Ryland Connors, 2 goals in the opening game of the tournament. Now a call's coming on Fort Saskatchewan, and I believe it's Nolan Eastwood again.
And that's that give and take right there, Cody. You get one back for your team, and then you put them on a disadvantage. Once again, for Eastwood, you got to be more disciplined than that. You're doing so many positive things for your squad. To have that happen, especially a second time in this game, not a great look for him, but a big kill ahead for Fort Saskatchewan. And Cody, they finally noticed that wet streak going on in Carpenter's net.
I'm not crazy though. Come on, chat, tell me I'm right here. We've been here for a long time, and we're not even finished the second period. This one, maybe the games get longer as the the day goes on, but we'll get another wipe of the crease. I guess Bowen Carpenter can catch his breath back there, be in front of the net. As out come, what, 7 servants to come and wipe this thing down. Hey, I love it. That's kind of efficient if you think about it. You think about the old ways of sending, you know, one old trainer out there with a mop.
Hey,
love this one. It's a little bit quicker.
I like it. I like what the Rebels got going here. But, yeah, no, I got to agree with Cody on this one. And one of the longest second periods I've ever experienced in the game of lacrosse. I do feel like I'm watching a Devon Extreme hockey game right now. Lots of penalties, not a lot. And a long second period. Don't tell my boss I made that joke. Nonetheless, the Rebels, big kill upcoming on what will be minute number 58 of the second period. That is an assumption, of course, not the real numbers to apply to that forecast. Our little troops heading off the floor once again. The poetry snaps coming from Cody.
Yeah. Hey, they're doing great. I give it, like, Anytime someone comes like near the floor, there's a wet mark because it is 30 degrees and humid in here. So, yeah, you got to give them credit. But the Shamrocks are going to the power play. They are 2 for 3 on the night. Back-to-back power play goals from Tyler OJ. And I think they're both the exact same look as well. Low-to-low shots and putting them right by the feet of Bowen Carpenter. Why not? Again, he's going to quarterback this unit up top. Kid can absolutely rip the biscuit. They'll try to play it crease side. Up top, OJ, low to low this time. Carpenter reads him, drops down to that hockey-style butterfly. OJ climbs the ladder. Now he's going to flip this one up top for Blake Anderson. Anderson had it escape him. Reese Walsh on a breakaway, trying to go glove side low. That is where Eastwood put one by Bjarnason earlier in the game in transition. This time it's an overhand shot that goes wide and out of play. Riley Dowswell will set it up here. Played on those Red Deer teams that were stacked. Think of Trafford, Couchman, those guys. Just some unbelievable Red Deer teams that were fun to watch. I feel like in the Tier 1 circuit, you always get some great matchups. As I believe they're going to call 4 seconds on Carpenter, or is there another call coming?
Illegal substitution that time from the Rebels. Sent Pook off the bench a little bit too early, and that's going to be another tough break for Fort Saskatchewan there. Jolivet going to be headed off to serve this one, it looks like. And the Shamrocks going to have a couple men without a defense partner to match them, and an opportunity to try to grow this lead once again.
Yeah, so definitely not a 4-second violation on Carpenter. Good thing you had your eyes in front. OJ's up top. They'll run this 4-on-3, sling it across from the up top shooters. Miller lets it fly. It's behind Carpenter. Rebound ends up getting scooped by Vetch, though. Vetch across the floor. Micah Thiessen holds it in the neutral zone. Now he waits for help. Ed McLean's on him. Thiessen got through. Bit of a double pick set by Johnston. He's pinned against the boards here, and that withholding is going to come pretty quick, you got to assume. He's trying to work his way down here. This looks like a Philadelphia Eagles tush push trying to get him there. All you need is someone to help push him into the corner.
I was going to say, what power there by Thiessen, really, even to stay upright along the board. He's got 3 men pushing down on you, trying to get you to the ground. Get on him to brace himself.
Well, the 5-on-3 is good for another 5 seconds. OJ lets it fly, and he scores. There's the hat trick. Tyler has another.
Just spreading out that score once again. And Cody, I'd like to say that the Rebels, again, there's a couple things you could be nitpicky with in this game, but I think one big asterisk that you're looking at right now is just the penalty trouble.
Discipline. Come on. They got, 3 power play goals for the Shamrocks this period, all from Tyler OJ, but like, you gotta stay out of the penalty box. Come on. Especially against a team like the Shamrocks, again, a high confidence squad. And if you're gonna do anything in this game to give them more confidence, you're not great. This is a team that's confident 5-on-5, so give them 5-on-4 or 5-on-3. You're probably looking at quite a few balls in the back of your net. No one knows penalty trouble better than the North Division in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League. You should have learned your lesson by 2025. Rylan Connors has it. There's about a 6-second differential. Shot clock, game clock, doesn't matter though. Now you can turn it off because Nolan Highcamp has it behind the cage. 12 seconds of power play left in the period for the Shamrocks. Assume they run something quick here. It's a low bouncer that goes by Carpenter. Fires one stick side.
And just a little bit of salt in the wound added that time by the Shamrocks. Cody, we were talking about the Rebels wanting to go into that second intermission only down 3.
That's not happening.
That's now been doubled up on by the Shamrocks with a 6-goal lead. If that's what you're aiming for, we'll show you the reverse action on that, is what the Shamrocks are saying right now. If they could hear us, at least, that is what they would be saying. So the Shamrocks dominant here in this second period. Make that their 8th goal of the period, and they just continue to steamroll through Fort Saskatchewan.
4 power in the second period by the Calgary Shamrocks. I know the lead is 6, but that's really the difference maker. That's why it's not a close ball game right now. The Rebels' discipline hasn't been good, and their defense hasn't been good enough. Things they could change clearly they're missing some bodies right now, right? No Davin Bajma, no Ben Reno, no Jackson Cohunt. You know, there is some big name players out of the lineup. Reese Walsh, or Rylan Walsh is unavailable as well. Pardon me. Like, they're missing guys, but they're missing that Rebel factor in my mind of what could make them successful.
I got to agree with you there, Cody. And again, Rebels lacrosse is and always will be hard-hitting, fast-paced action. And you point out a guy like Walsh, that is his MO right there. He's a hard hitter on the back end. He makes you feel him when you're trying to cut through his 24, and that's exactly what the Rebels are lacking here. The Shamrocks are running all over them, not scared to go into any part of the floor right now. And I mean, you have to play clean as possible, but you want to make them feel it so that at the end of this tournament, they have nothing left. That a great Paul Maurice quote from the NHL playoffs as well. You got to beat on them until they got nothing left for when it matters. And the Rebels not doing that in this game here. The Shamrocks only gaining confidence as this one goes on against a heavy favorite and the host team here at the Larry Bishop. Cody, send us off.
Well, and again, you bring up Paul Maurice. You bring up the toughness it takes to play this sport. Try playing 6 games in 72 hours. That's what it can take to win the Larry Bishop Memorial Cup. 40 down, 20 to go. Shamrocks lead 13-7. We're back with the third on CROW LAX TV. Period number 3 on the docket. Game number 5 of the Larry Bishop Memorial Cup. It's Cody Janes and Aiden Bulgard with you. Calgary Shamrocks up 13-7. Shots on goal 34-29 in favor of the Shamrocks. They're rocking their white threads, gold shoulders, green trim. Going left, right on your TV screen. Rebels going right to left in their black threads. Dylan Pook with it. Up top, he'll find Jackson Baker. Baker, long range shot, ends up behind the cage. Connors trying to bounce it off the back of Reese Bjarnason. Ends up just throwing it right into the back of the goal.
That one an underrated play, to be honest. You got to have your shot dialed in to make that one work out. And if you watch Bowen Carpenter, actually, every time the ball is behind his net, he's ducking full on in there. He wants nothing to do with that shot. Dangerous for a goaltender as well, as if it hits the back of the head, you never know what can happen there.
Dowswell stopped by Carpenter. Dowswell had a hat trick in their first game against the St. Albert Crew. Both of these teams are 1-0. Eastwood now is going to get called on the push, and he's been at the middle of everything. Seems to be good and bad for the Rebels in this game.
He definitely has had a magnet on him in this game for both goals and penalties. So weigh that out how you would like to for the folks at home and for you Warriors in the comments.
Dowswell inside, save made by Bowen Carpenter. Hey, if you haven't checked out that first period save, though, by Carpenter, Jesse Yant, the man, the myth, the legend, is shooting video on this one. It's all over Instagram. It's probably going to pop off. Yeah, ridiculous save early on by Bowen Carpenter. Well, without him, this thing could be real ugly and out of hands. Rebels still kicking around, though. Down by 6 with 18 minutes to go. Calix Simonson, brother of Sebastian Simonson. Baker on the roll, restraining line. Shot ends up hitting his own teammate. Connors gets it back, and good positioning by Bjarnason. Eric Johnston. That's got to be top 5 shoe game right there by Johnston. I like those. Those are fresh. Might have to get a closer look at them. Little lane inside. Good defense by Brown. Thiessen throws it up for Matthew Vetch. Has 1 goal in the game. Game in the second period.
Rebels still showing some life on the defensive end, which is a good sign coming into this final frame.
Yeah, and you can't just fold, right? You can't just be like, well, we're probably not going to win, so let's pack it in. That just doesn't work in this tournament. Calix Simonson in the corner. Opened up the loose ball opportunity for Dylan Pook, and he just simply didn't grab it. Back the other way is O'Dwyer. At a 4-on-2, but a lefty on the left side doesn't exactly give you the best look. Dowswell, 20-year-old out of Red Deer, slings it over for Soren Nygren. Nygren's got a couple already this evening. He'll pop it right back up to himself. 5 on the shot clock. Nygren's in the corner. 2 to shoot. Bouncer off the pants of Bowen Carpenter. I thought that hit the netting above the glass.
I'd have to agree with you there, Cody.
They just said keep it going. The second period took too long. Let's just keep going here. Riley Dowswell with it far side. Nickel will defend him. Up top for Aaron Say. He'll walk it over the restraining line. 10 to shoot. Little spin move there by Seth Miller. Pushback still has the ball, though. Miller to the middle, denied by Carpenter. Rebound, Miller might pick that up as well. Cross check right in the back by Ashton Johnston.
Great job by Hudson Scrimshaw to kind of seal off that lane that time. He's a player who's been improving on the defensive end all season long for the Rebels. Actually had a break from lacrosse before coming back in this season. I think he's done a great job so far.
Low shot there by Dowswell. Goes wide. Didn't Hudson Scrimshaw take a long break? Like we're talking like 10 plus years is the rumor.
Very long break. He was actually playing out in the KIJHL for the Fernie Ghost Riders, and then I believe in Revy as well. So took some time to focus on hockey, but now back in the lacrosse world and actually playing Junior B Hawks, I believe, in Fort Saskatchewan as well.
And now he's going to go sit and watch for 2 minutes or less from the sin bin. Shamrocks going back to the power play. They have scored on their last 4 power play opportunities. Do with that as you will. They're back to the man advantage. 16:03 left to go in the third period. Tyler OJ's up top on the power play. Boy, he has been impressive. This kid has a shot. It's sweeping like, right? And you want to make the Calgary comparison to a Curtis Dixon, but he just shoots that low to low, and he puts it right inside the pipe at the bottom. That's a tough save for any goaltender to make. And if you have too wide of a stance, it also puts you in a spot where you can't move, and a team like the Shamrocks can really snap it around on you.
Curtis Dixon is a bit of a callback there. I like that one there, Cody. It's I remember watching him as a youngster too when the Edmonton Rush were still a thing. Curtis Dixon was someone you did not like to see stepping in the building. Such a highly talented lacrosse player and pleasure to watch.
Now Carpenter and Thiessen. A little confusion on the handoff. Running behind the net, safe. Nickel popped it free for a second. Blake Anderson has it up top. Again, no Nick Lutweiler. He got the boot from the game. Would generally be in that shooter spot, but not a bad backup to have Riley Dowswell there. Here's Miller trying to cut inside. Oh, he somehow got the toe drag through. Carpenter makes the save. He's flopping around, trying to get the rebound. Decent all the way across the floor. Won't hit Vetch, and Dowswell heads south. On the restraining line, he'll set it up. 45 seconds left to go on the power play. OJ up top. Righty strong look here. Dowswell doesn't shoot it. OJ, Miller, low to low, scores. Another power play. Are 5 for their last 5 on the man advantage.
That was a flat-footed Rebels penalty kill that time around. I mean, the Shamrocks, again, you're shorthanded, so you can't challenge too much, but for the Shamrocks, just passing around with ease around the point until they found a lane and no one moving to close it, and that results in a ball in the back of your net. And for the Rebels, that's just a sign of this game. I do got to say, Cody, I think by the time we had reached the 14.5-minute mark period, we were actually about 30 minutes into it. So this is, things are moving along here in the third.
Cruising by here. Tyler Manning up top. Nolan Eastwood down low. Reed Lowe with the quick stick. Bjarnason makes the save. Shamrock's got a good 1-2 punch between the pipes. Not enough people talk about that. Jace Music is a heck of a starter. And then you got Bjarnason as the backup. You need both of them. You got to go through the Larry Bishop. You got to go through the Founders, and that means playing a lot of games and not that many days. Hand it off from Blake Anderson. 2 goals in the opening period for Anderson. Now he'll await some help as Riley Dowswell comes off the bench. Goal and 5 assists against the Mounties in the South final. Miller trying to go low to low. Almost knocked the glove off of Bowen Carpenter. Scrimshaw bats it over for Nickel. Dowswell has it. Nickel can't get stick on stick there as he'll set this one up with 25 on the shot clock.
Shamrock's really just controlling it at this point. It's going through the motions almost, it seems like. And for the Rebels, at least in this third period, got to try to push.
Now in front, Aaron Saint ran into Bowen Carpenter. We've got a couple of tackles on the floor here. Nickel's gonna get in there. Calix Simonson trying to get his cage on straight. I guess we'll see what the calls come out of this, but cooler heads. Again, I don't expect to see a lot of fights in a tournament like this, right? There's no risk in, getting the boot, but you also have to let your opponents know you're there, right? Like, you can't just fold tent because you might see them on Sunday or Monday.
This is exactly it, Cody. And for Simonson there, I think maybe a little more upset that he got full-on tackled by the referee that time around, and that's a very dangerous situation because the referee very much in control in that conversation. If you're going to flail around, if you're going to rip your arm away from him, you don't know which way that's going to turn. I mean, the referee just trying to keep things under control out on the floor, exactly his intention and what he was able to do. But still beaking from the box right now is Simonson, frustrated as ever, not only with that play, but I think getting hauled to the ground in such way.
I don't know, the chat's kind of ripping the refs a little bit. I think they've been fine this weekend, and Wes will agree with me, I'm probably the worst for just dunking on refs when I got the opportunity. I think they've been fine. I don't know, like I don't look at any of these penalties and opportunities and be like, that's the real difference maker. No, you got to play discipline. Cross. You can't be cross-checking guys in the numbers. You know, you can't be taking shots after the whistle. You can't have too many men on the floor. Like, those are the little things. I don't think the refs have influenced this game at all.
Absolutely not. I think they've actually maintained quite a reasonable balance, especially in a game like this. Cody, I mean, you were there for that crude game earlier. That was quite spread out. Did you see kind of a similar situation with the game? Again, just trying to keep things under control, making sure we get on to the next one without any serious incidents?
Yeah, I think to some extent, I would agree. I think the Shamrocks were pretty much ragging the ball in like the second period. that one here. But again, they're starting to do it now. They're up by 7 with 13 minutes left. Why do they got to try and get to the middle?
No. Why burn the extra energy? As they say, again, it's a long weekend, a lot of games that you may have to play. And a long list coming out of the PA announcer right now.
Well, I think Simonson didn't even get a minor. I think he just got a 10-minute misconduct, and then Knox Despin's got a cross-check.
Yeah, and again, I think Simonson may have.
So I think they're going to say that Aaron Say was hit into the goal. And so, again, hey, if that's the case that the refs saw, I'm fine with that, right? At the end of the day, as long as they're looking out for player safety, I think people are happy.
And that's what you need to be doing. And I think for the referees, again, this is one of those challenging games to try to just get to the finish line, right? And as it gets further spread out, or if it were in some way to get closer, I think that problem only continues.
Now there's Shamrock's power play. 5 for 6 so far. Dowswell hitting to the boards by Brown. Up top, Anderson. Low shot there by Miller. Goes off the post, off the back of Carpenter. Stays out.
That last turnover for the Rebels on the loose ball foul, showing they are finishing every check right now, and the Rebels bench up in arms.
Again, you'll start to see things behind the play. It's kids being kids. You can take an extra whack here or there when you're young.
These are supposed to be young adults here, Cody, right?
No, they're kids being kids. Come on, it's junior lacrosse. You can let them play a little bit. It's all fun. Dylan Pook has it now. Rebels down by 7. Short-handed Pook to the middle. Low roller. Won't make its way to Bjarnason.
I think we were all guilty of it too ourselves, Cody, growing up.
Emotions never get the best of any of us.
No.
Power play still going on for 50 seconds until Knox Despins gets out of the sin bin. Bit of a different look here. Seth Miller is up top. Miller whips this one over to Nygren. Look for OJ. Carpenter again, another save. He's got to spin around. Now Brown trying to scoop up that loose ball with the traditional stick. You don't get extra points for it, but it isn't as easy. Over to Nickel. Crowd loves it.
Played that one quite well.
Fan favorite. Eastwood. When he hasn't been in the penalty box, he's been putting the ball in the back of the net. He's got 4 already in this one. Outside swim move, inside pass, finds Reed low. Got the shot on net. Not exactly the power he wanted, but good defense by Ben McLean on him.
A shoe game for Eastwood as well, looking pretty strong, and Despin's almost finding a lane there to knock a man down.
Yeah, he just went straight penalty box to train track, and I think that was Kalen Snee. Heck of a job to stay on his feet, but that one's gonna wind you.
Sometimes those hurt more. 2 big bodies hitting each other with nobody giving any give. It's those stink.
Anderson fires that one off the left toe of Carpenter. Johnston has it. Vetch is up there. It's a 2-on-1. Vetch has already scored today. Johnston won't shoot it. Over to Vetch. 5-hole look. Bjarnason got that with the heel turn.
Got to be good to be lucky, lucky to be good. That's what they say. But I think for Bjarnason, that just, again, closing up enough to make the stop, and he's been so good all evening long. It's not that the Rebels haven't gotten shots through, some not all well placed, but doing a great job.
Carpenter now finds himself on the seat of his pants, made the save on Miller, and now Longmire has a hold of Aaron Say behind the plate. Pooks up top. 4-on-3 if the Rebels want to go in pace here. They'll slow it down. Reese Walsh is going to stay on offense. Eastwood let that one fly from the restraining line, ends up going out of play. And I believe 9:59 left to go, exactly 1 second over half. We'll get a water break for the goaltenders, a little bit of a media break here as well. I know that moral victories is such a U7 like sports term, but like if you're Fort Saskatchewan, you got to find something out of this, don't you? Because you can't be going into a game against the CROW tomorrow down, or they could kick you right in the pants.
And that's exactly it, and I think that's the team the CROW are this weekend. Is the team ready to run a shocker on someone, and that's the thing for the Rebels is find that positivity. And I wouldn't use the term moral victories. As you said, it's not one you like to use at this level, but just, yeah, finding anything, those sparks that, again, can turn into fires. It's Nolan Eastwood's one of them here tonight. I mean, barring the penalty trouble, he's been a bright spot on their offense. Someone stepping up, and I think other players on the Rebels need to look at that performance and say they need to step up into that role as well. When you're facing injury troubles this time of year, it takes the right guys to make the right things happen. And whether that is just, you know, a couple good possessions that you're able to string together, or a great defensive stop, something that you can take in for the last 10 minutes of this period, you need something, Cody. I think you're absolutely right. And when the Rebels go back to that home dressing room where they are so comfortable, they can't be chatting about, oh, this, oh, that. They got to have something positive to go on about in the morning.
Yeah, you got to find something here. And even if it is just making this an acceptable score to look at on social media, that's a small victory that you can sleep with. Eastwood up top. Shot clock got reset. Inside feed. Baker's there, and he put it right in the big traditional stick of Bjarnason.
Even just to close this by one right now, Cody, you don't want the Shamrocks walking around saying they're twice as good as you, as they're currently doubling up the Rebels on the scoreboard.
Riley Dow as well. Plenty of experience. Still going to play in Founders Cup here in a few weeks' time with Calgary Shamrocks. Inside feed got knocked down. Vetch is going to grab it off the half wall. Whips a pass up for Nolan Eastwood. Eastwood touched it and couldn't catch up to it before Kalen Sneed it. Slowing down is Blake Anderson. Sits in the neutral zone. Don't expect the Shamrocks to push it here. It's their second game of the day as well, and that's a bit of the issue with the tournament format, as these things do slow down. Vetchel defend in the corner as Anderson runs it up top. Miller trying to cut inside, looking to avoid the crease. Got a shot on goal, though. Carpenter makes the save.
Just those little shots behind the play. Hey, I mean, Vetch so good at that.
Reed Lowe off the bench, buries one, and have 8.
There you go. You just took away that one trip that you could have faced. It's the Rebels getting back on the board. Reed Lowe, a couple times he struck in this game now, and getting his team back on the board here in the third, and even just a little bit of a push here for the last 8 minutes and 37 seconds in this period, Cody. I want to see at least maybe 1-2 more goals out of the Rebels. Try not to give up anything. Again, just walk away with some positivity from this third period.
Not a lot of better breakaway players in Tier 1 than a guy like Reed Lowe. I think she's just so good at finishing on those opportunities. You know, you think of the guys like Josh Fodchuk, you know, Sutherland and Mountain View. I know the Shamrocks have a very balanced attack. I think Dowswell is probably one of those guys that breakaway, it's borderline automatic. But I just Reed Lowe, you give him that opportunity. Come on, he's probably going to make you pay. Outside look there. That'll peel some paint by Aaron Say. And this is heading all the way back.
It's not nice to the rink staff. I'm sure they painted these things up fresh for a weekend like this.
OJ up top. Shamrocks are really running this one down, and if you're the Rebels, I know you don't take liberties with them, doing that, but I think you also have to be a little upset if they're going to just try rag the ball with 8 minutes left.
Definitely is going to make things boil over. I know in my playing days, if you're on the opposite, if you're on that side of that situation, it just gets more and more frustrating. As you know, you're kind of just, lack of a better word, beating a dead horse, as they say.
Yeah, these also aren't two rival teams either. They're lucky if they see each other once a year, so you don't exactly have that North Division hatred that, maybe some of those other matchups you'd see. 7 minutes left to go here. Shamrocks up by 6. Seth Miller behind the net. Hit by Nickel.
I would almost argue the opposite to your point there, Cody. When you see these teams like this only once a year, you know they're in the same league as you. You want those wins because you know you're not getting your second chance back to get those bragging rights. I mean, in a tournament like this, you very well may. But if you understand the point of view I'm coming from there.
Shot by Eastwood goes wide. Low little BTB pass. Eastwood one hand on his stick. Knocked down to the concrete. Vetch comes in to get it. Took a heavy hit in the change box area there. Now Eastwood getting into it with Highcamp behind the play. A lot of chatter going on between the benches. We need a floor reporter for something like this. We might as well just turn the mic on hot and let them talk. That would be entertainment, but it is the Junior Beast After Dark. And we will also be responsible adults here as Eastwood and Highcamp continue their exchange of words. I'm not sure any penalties are even going to come out of that.
Highcamp wanted no part of that, to be fair. As soon as his helmet came off, he just started jogging the other way. And I mean
Eastwood can chuck him, though.
Oh, yeah.
He is not afraid to get the paws dirty.
Absolutely not. And nor is this Junior B Tier 1 Rebels team ever in the existence that I've watched them. It's almost like it's a prerequisite when you walk into training camp. But
well, now there's a penalty. It's on Jackson Baker for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah. I guess they just couldn't help themselves this time around. Almost walked away unscathed, but why not?
That's been the story of 60 minutes. They can't help themselves.
Little icing on the cake that time for the Rebels. And, oh, there's the little pun because it was Baker who went to the box. Baker puts the icing on the cake.
There's no way you haven't used that one in a game already this year.
I think that's a first for me.
That's unbelievable. That's a clutch move with 6:26 left to go in the third. Baker goes to the sin bin. Shamrocks are 5 for 7 so far. So normally you'd be like, well, they'd want to use this opportunity to, test out some things on the power play. Yeah, their power play's fine, trust me.
I think you might be barking up the right tree there, Cody. Old Trusty would be the play name they should call it now.
Yeah, here's OJ looking for 4. Ends up bouncing this one. His other goals haven't been bounce shots from there, but he does have 3 power play markers in this game.
Automatic is what it's been all night long. Looking to continue that here as this game continues to wind down. And Cody, I feel like time is just peeling away on me here. Under 6 minutes to go in the third. There at least would have still been, 15, 16 minutes left on the clock if this were the second period.
Yeah, it's flying by, but also at the same time, it's in molasses here. Pook finds Connors. Rips that one off the red metal. It's all the way back to Bowen Carpenter. Don't forget, this exact schedule happens tomorrow again, starting at 9 o'clock. 5 games. Starts with the Crude and the Kings at 9 in the morning. Then 11:45, it's Mountain View and the Shamrocks. Rebels and Crude will play at 2:30. And we got more rough stuff in front of the players' boxes here.
Looks like Lowe got waved to the box. See if he'll be getting joined by anybody in a white jersey. Not looking like it as of right now, though.
So definitely a cross-check in the back there. That's a pretty obvious one. Would assume it's just a 2-minute minor. Just let things cool off. But it'll be a 5-on-3 now for 55 seconds.
So what are the Shamrocks calling their 5-on-3 power play that they like to run here, Cody.
Yeah, I think it's just more room for them to pass it around and kill some clock here. Maybe you do have something like a 4-on-3 that you do want to draw up and actually test out. That might make sense, but at the end of the day, they've got two of the best shooters in Tier 1 lacrosse up top, and I think you kind of just give them the green light to let it fly. I mean, Seth Miller's been awesome. He's a veteran in this league. He knows where to put the ball. And Tyler OJ, he's probably been the most impressive player I've seen in day one of this tournament so far. Just the way that he controls the game. His footwork is as good as anyone. You know, it's the shot up top. It's the way he quarterbacks the power play. He's got a good forecheck. I think it's just little things like that that's been so impressive.
I got to agree with you there. I was more going at the fact, though, that if we're calling the 5-on-4 play old trusty, what are we calling 5-on-3? I believe they're 1-for-1 so far in this game, 5-on-3.
Well, it might just be a delay of game as they're going to sit up top here. Ben McLean's going to hold on to it. He'll play that top spot in the 5-on-3. I assume they try to run something here. It's just they're going to go at their own pace so far. Dowswell's crease side. Dowswell now walks inside. Doesn't get anything on goal, and Carpenter not forced to make the save. Dowswell on the forecheck now. Ashton Johnson has it. He'll spin away from traffic. Snee comes up to meet him. Just above half, causes the turnover. Kalen Snee's got a breakaway. Snee's denied by Carpenter.
Look at the speed on that rush. It's not a slow man in Ashton Johnson chasing him back.
Longmire has it now. Trying the swim move. DePaiva runs it into Rebel territory, and he stands up Longmire. Couple of tough competitors going at it there. That's kind of more of what I would expect to see here, is that physical play ramp up. Dowswell, power play still in action for 35 seconds. Auger, let this one go. I'm not sure if that was intended for 5-hole or if he just missed his spot. Baker up the middle on his backhand. Defender all over him in Johnston. Whips it over to Connors. Connors now spins around a couple of defenders. Let it fly. Save made by Bjarnason. Pop fly in the slot. It's going to be grabbed by Dowswell. Armstrong up the floor.
Here comes the slowdown by the Shamrocks once again. Time continues to wind down. Why exert the extra effort? It's kind of, I think, the game plan here.
Yeah, it'll hurt their power play stats on paper, but end of the day, if you're lifting a trophy on Monday, it doesn't really matter.
Everything resets into the next season.
Yep, they already got their ticket to the Founders book too. So a few less bruises wouldn't hurt. Reed low. Up top. Finds Nolan Eastwood. Manning's tied up with his defender, DePaiva. DePaiva took him to the ground. Now he's giving him an extra shot behind the play. Eastwood let it go low, trying for the rebound.
It's a lot of contact for nothing to come out of that there in the corner.
Yeah, it's a man's league, junior beast. What do you say, let the kids play?
That's exactly it.
It's all fun and games, bruises heal. Sate rips it across the floor. Blake Anderson happy to wait on this. Down in the corner, Eastwood gives him a healthy 1-2 hack.
Went for a second one there.
Well, the meal's good, grab seconds. That's going to the sin bin. Simonson comes out. Now it's a 2 or a 5. You know the Shamrocks aren't going to be happy about that, but you got to assume it's going to continue. It's junior lacrosse. You see it everywhere, every level. I think that's going to be the end of Eastwood's night. I believe that's his 5th minor penalty of the game, or 5th penalty of the game. I guess we don't know if that's a minor or major coming towards him. Not sure there's much to argue on that one either, but he'll make his case.
I'm not sure what you call this game for Eastwood. I mean, 4 goals and you get booted on penalties. It's something I certainly never achieved in my career, and I'm not sure what they call that. I mean, you got a shot trick, hat trick, Gordie Howe hat trick.
For the lacrosse people, I remember, and he might still be playing Senior B. I really should be doing some research before telling the story. Tyler Melnick plays on the Senior B Mounties, or played on it. Also played in the NLL a little bit. He was notorious. He would score 6 in a game, and he would take as many minors as he could. He was all over the place. That's an Eastwood performance right there. The senior lacrosse people in the chat right now know who Tyler Melnick is, and just one heck of a lacrosse player, but not afraid to throw the lumber around.
And I think we're going to see a lot of people trying to put on a similar performance here, and that's a 5-minute.
So was the Major. So when they got called for one of those slashes, one was free.
Yeah.
They just threw that on for buying the car. Shamrocks are going to hold this one up top. No surprise. OJ's out there. I don't know. I'm not a junior coach for a reason. To throw any forwards on the floor right now, it seems a little intimidating. I guess credit to the Rebels for not going full-on savage mode here, but
ooh, there's Vetch, I know.
Just going one-on-one. He's going to take the opportunity to drop the shoulder any chance he got.
Playing with him, watching, I knew, it's coming, especially at this kind of game and the framework we're at here.
One more wipe of the floor. And you can send out the U11 Rebels one more time. They're just burning off energy. This is their parents being like, hey, let's get another floor wipe here. We got to send Johnny to bed after this one.
And I mean, they'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, that's absolutely. 5 more games tomorrow. What a schedule. I know that, I've got my gripes with it to some extent, but it's also a full day of lacrosse. I can't be too grouchy about it. It's the best sport in the world, and we get wall-to-wall action.
It is certainly a great time. My first experience with the Larry Bishop, I got to say I'm enjoying it here on day number 1. Unfortunately, I had to work my real job, so I could only show up halfway through, but that's okay because I'm here for the rest of the weekend here with Cody, with Tristan, and all the other ones helping out.
How about tomorrow? When you look at the schedule, okay, it starts off right in the morning, CROW Kings. You cannot pick that game. Mountain View, Shamrocks. Then it's Rebels, CROW at 2:30. Then it's Queen City and the Shamrocks at 5:15. Finishes off Rebels, Mavericks at 8. What's the game that you're most looking forward to tomorrow?
You know what? I'd actually be very interested to watch that Shamrocks and Queen City game.
That's such a good unbiased answer from you. I'm going to be fully biased and just say Rebels CROW because I don't care. It's the best rivalry in the Junior Beast. I know it might not be the best game, and we'll see what actually comes out of it. But anytime, get to watch Rebels CROW. Come on.
The one time I try to go the
I know,
unbiased
that's a great national broadcast there. Fastball down the middle by you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to wear my bias hat on the north one here. Shot goes wide. Carson Martel is between the pipes now for Fort Saskatchewan. So they'll throw in the youngster. Picked up in the most recent Junior B draft. A couple of teams passed on him, which was shocking, to say the least. Simonson for Connors. Less than a minute to go. Rebels down by 6. Connors battling his way to the middle here. Highcamp is all over him. Now Manning throws his defender to the ground. Couple extra shots get in there. 40 seconds left to go in the third. You wonder if they just start sending them to the showers.
It's got to be about that time.
Or they just run the clock and say, just play on. Simonson has it off the back of Bjarnason and in. Calix Simonson finds the back of the net. The Rebels have 9.
That's one way to answer back. Kind of an odd play there. Something you expected to be fully blown down turns in to just turnaround effect for Calix Simonson, who's able to net one there off the back of Bjarnason. Something that the true homer himself, actually, Tristan Shaw, would enjoy very much. Cody,
Tristan's just taking ricochets. He's doing the hard work here this weekend. They've been awesome. Like, how good does this broadcast be rocking here? Like, we've got the camera angles, replays looking sharp, the clock's been fantastic. CROW LAX TV, You'd be hard-pressed to find a better broadcast in junior lacrosse again. I had to watch Game 7 of a certain lacrosse league on Twitter Live, and it was the worst thing I've ever experienced. So, yeah, you should be thankful for what the hard workers like Tristan and Gabby are putting out there for you. That one's going to be in the feet of Bjarnason. Dozen seconds left here. Oh, they'll throw it up the floor. Thought they might just try sit on this one. Well, this is the friendliest the game has been here. Clock ticks down. Shamrocks 2-0 after Friday in Fort Saskatchewan. 14-9, the final score as Calgary, they flexed the offense in their first game. This game, I'd argue they flexed their defense because they allowed the Rebels nothing. And I think that was the most impressive feat.
I would agree with you there, Cody. I mean, it was just an utter control of this game to me on both sides of the floor. I mean, yes, confident as always on the offense. Again, I would agree with you. To highlight that defensive end or to not highlight it would be a crime, as they really did play strong in that back end. Didn't give a high event Rebels offense really any options. And I mean, you see a guy like Jackson Kohut go down early. Yes, that's not a good look for the Rebels offense. But for the Shamrocks, really just gave them no life the whole time around. Yes, you allow 9 goals, but again, this is lacrosse, folks. That's going to happen. And I think things kind of got loose towards the end. If the Shamrocks were really giving it their 110%, I don't think you see the Rebels put 9 goals on the board here tonight. Again, a strong performance on both ends of the floor. Some handshakes here now, Cody. I think some much needed handshakes between these two teams. And this weekend continues to roll on. It's only getting kicked off, which is the crazy part.
Yeah, and see, this is lacrosse, right? Like a minute ago, they're trying to break each other's hands. Now they're shaking each other's hands. So that's the sportsmanship. And you don't really see too many handshake fights unless it's at like a certain tournament out east or something like that.
Who's throwing strays now?
Hey, I got to keep it realistic. Hey, Wes Kendall's in the chat as well. He says Melnick's actually a nice person. He is. I've talked to him before. I just tell him the way that he plays is that guy could go and score a handful of goals. And he could also be just an absolute menace penalty taker on the floor.
Those are the best kind of guys, no?
Yeah, let's see. He won. He's a winner. I think he's got an NLL ring. And I think if you've done that at the highest level, well, that says a lot more than 99% of people. We'll keep it locked here because we got the Jackson Porter Player of the Game sponsored by Cyclone Environmental Services coming up. For Fort Saskatchewan, I mean, Eastwood's hit the showers. He did score a lot. Like, I feel like that one might be in play, but I don't know. Can you give it to someone who was kicked out of the game?
I think that's the debate. I mean, Cody, if we're going to take a guess before it happens here quickly, who's your backup?
I'm not taking guesses. I can't guess this stuff. I'm going to be so wrong. It's not even going to be funny. Okay, for the Shamrocks, give me OJ. I thought he was really good. Maybe Bjarnason. He was consistent. Rebels, it's got to be like a D guy. Maybe like Vetch. Or no, he won last time. Thiessen? All right, let's let the experts tell us who's actually the player of the game.
From the New England Construction Rebels, number 81, Micah Thiessen.
Is that good? Is predicting the player of the game good?
Who's the prophet now? Nicely done. Nicely done. The pro man comes down to steal the limelight here on the broadcast, just guessing MVPs left, right, and center. Let's see if you can keep it going all weekend long, though, Cody. You got a lot of games.
Oh, no, this is... I might have to retire. If I go 2 for 2, I'll retire.
From the Calgary Shamrocks, number 10, Tyler Huber.
2 for 2, is that good?
I'd say that's a clean sweep.
All right, Tyler OJ is your player of the game. The Jackson Porter Player of the Game is presented by Cyclone Environmental Services. For myself, Cody Jansen, Aiden. We also got Tristan and Gabby with us this evening. Hey, also shout out to Mo, shout out to Keenan, Lindsay, Dave, everyone who helped put this together, right? This isn't something that you just pop the tent up. This has been a lot of planning, effort, work that goes into setting this up. Day one was absolutely phenomenal. 5 lacrosse games in 12 hours. Yeah, let's do it all again tomorrow morning. Doesn't that sound good? St. Albert taking on Regina. Yeah, join us at 9. All right, this one's the final, though. Calgary beats Fort Saskatchewan. They're 2-0 on CROW LAX TV.